Hey, I don't know, I just wanted to have a little bit of a dialogue. I just finished playing Arkham City on PC, Batman Arkham City, through Steam. This is just a really quick kind of review. I thought it was good. Not great. I really felt that Arkham Asylum, the first one, was perfect, if not up to par with my favorite game, Metal Gear Solid 1, which definitely does give it high regards. The biggest problem with Arkham City is that its abundance kind of kind of makes it less special. You know, it's kind of like it goes out of its way to just go beyond fan servicey, and for that, as a fanboy, it's really great. I mean, Holly, Catwoman's assistant slash sidekick, kind of like who replaced her a little bit in the comics and then didn't for a long time. That was really cool, but at the same time, Catwoman is not that great. She's pretty cool, gameplay wise. I don't like the voice that much. The voice kind of makes me cringe. It's this level of kind of campiness when it's done badly. It's like comparing Uma Thurman to Eartha Kitt. It's just it's two different levels. It's like, yeah, there's the camp in Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, but it's not done well. It's kind of overblowed, it's overwrought, and that's exactly how this voice actress sounds like. She just seems somewhat over doing it too much. Eartha Kitt has a real fun campiness. I mean, this is like saying Julie Newmar still is one of the best Catwomen. Michelle Pfeiffer has this troubled insanity, which makes her more of a monster, which is the theme of Batman Returns, and that's why Batman Returns is really good on its own part. I still love the animated series. Catwoman voice never does anything too campy. It's This one is a little bit too playful, suggestive. It kind of grew on me for a while, but the voice was pretty bad. Kevin Conroy, of course, everyone's going to say they love him, but I would pay good money for a Dietrich Bader sound pack. I think Batman Brave and the Bold is hands down one of the best Batmans in a while, and Kevin Conroy's been doing Batman for almost 15. Well, it was 93 when the show came out. It was 93, 92 around there, and when the show came out right after Batman Returns. So it probably was 93. I remember Jurassic Park Jurassic Park was out around that time, so it was like a year after. Penguin is hands down the most interesting villain out of all of them. He gets the longest amount of time. He has a lot more backstory. He has relationships. He's redefined. He has a British voice. I would say he's more redefined. Joker, on the other hand, is less, but he's still very relevant. I think one of the biggest surprises is Tara Strong's voice as Harley. Arlene Sorkin's voice in the last game wasn't that great. She's my favorite. She's one of my favorites. She's always been my favorite. Harley Quinn definitely ranks in as one of my favorite characters. But Arlene Sorkin's voice as Harley was a step down in Arkham because she had that sexy nurse outfit, and that animation that made her look like a stripper. Here, they kept the animation, they kept the style. Tara Strong adds a little bit of Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls, and there's these series of Harley Quinn little stationary mic stands up that she has recorded audio, which is just brilliant, just utterly brilliant. They're all funny, they're all hilarious, they're perfect. And whenever Tara Strong comes in as Harley Quinn, the writing is really great. It's right on where it needs to be. It's this. That's the thing about this art style. This art style is kind of cool. It's a lot like the comic books. A lot more like the comic books. It reminds me of like No Man's Land. It just reminds me kind of like heavy metal, kind of cool. It's a really cool it's a pretty cool style. Now, my personal taste, I've been I've grown up on so many different Batman artists. I It's kind of hard to pick. Talking with my good friend Justin, he has different tastes. I have different tastes, but we all like talking about different Batman artists. And one of the coolest things about it is the different skin files. God, I'm so out of tune out of this whole review, but I think let me just go back to why I think it's not that great. There's so much stuff in here, and by the time you reach freeze, I know a lot of people say it before it, but by the time you reach freeze was the moment where I was like, oh man, and this game is kind of doing too much. This game is giving you too much crap. By the time you reach freeze, freeze is gonna ask you to like go fetch something, and at that point, it kind of everyone you've met, you go fetch something, and it's not bad. It's a great way to extend the game, but compared to Arkham Asylum, there was this good there was this good build up. Like you saw Croc, and you were always progressing to see Croc. You always were progressing to see someone, and you kind of knew what was coming up next, and you kind of had a build up as you were coming along. Here, characters kind of pop up, doesn't really get explained. If you're paying attention a little bit, like Solomon Grundy, you kind of know if you've read Long Halloween. That's a cool thing. I mean, like if you're a follower of the comics, this is probably going to be one of the best adaptations. And this is where I'm kind of going to get something controversial, that I think this is better than Christopher Nolan's movies. Not better than the animated series, or better than some comics, some of my favorite comics, like Long Halloween. But it's great. It's really really great. It kind of has that. I think the one thing that Dark Knight failed on, although kind of was relevant, showing the amount of criminals there were, and same thing with Batman Begins, is that you kind of didn't know who these guys were. You didn't know how relevant they were. And when you had the freaks, because that's the cool thing about Long Halloween. The good thing about Long Halloween was this end of the mafia, rise of the freaks. Here, there's a lot of freaks. There's a couple gangs. Falcone is referenced a lot. He's referenced also to Catwoman, which if you're not following the comics, you don't understand. And that's really, really cool. That's really, really interesting, and really gives it more depth. I mean, a lot of people are going to compare this with the animated series because some characters and their relationships in the animated series are made clear. A lot of people who are following the current continuity, or okay, before 52, but who are following the comics, the big drastic change, it follows that. Like I said, Holly's referenced. A lot of it is referenced. Tim Drake has an extremely small cameo, and this is another one of the problems that I hope they're gonna do down the line. I bought the DLC packs, Robin and Nightwing. They're pretty good. They're really, really good. The animation on them is spot on, great, wonderful. Highly recommended if you just want to play them. If you're a fanboy, you've been nickeled and dime over everything comic book related. So it's kind of that. My biggest problem is that DLC packs, I don't think they're going to continue. I think this is it. Maybe we might get something. We might get something. I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. They need more preparation to make these things. So the thing about Robin that's interesting is that there's when you start the game, Black Mask is seen right in the intro, and here you have like two missions that revolve around Black Mask. Now the level designs are pretty interesting. The graphics are, you're in a meat factory and you're trying to take down Black Mask's henchmen, and you can see Black Mask on a window up above, walking back and forth. It's kind of cool. It's kind of poorly done. The second mission is going on a fight through a series of trains. That one's really, really good, and it's done in a 2D style. You're fighting the dudes. It's a little bit hard to follow sometimes. It reminds me a lot of No More Heroes, Travis's dream sequence. That alone is probably going to get a lot of people to like it. The one before, bad graphics, it's not very well told. And this is the part that I think a lot of people are going to argue with me, but if they laid down like a series of texts saying like Robin has to stop Black Mask, yada yada yada, that would be enough. That would be enough for me. I don't know. A lot of people might want more dialogue. I don't know. And then that's the thing with DLC. If they're gonna make more mission packs, the Nightwing one has two Wayne Manor fights. Beautiful graphics, really nicely done, nice tone, really really great. I don't know. I mean, like the next thing everyone's gonna be saying is Batgirl should be the next one. Oracle's mentioned, so maybe? I don't know. The animated skin packs are fabulous. Fabulous. Really, really, really great. I will pay $40 if they could remake Robin's Reckoning, my favorite episode of the animated series. I'd pay $40 for DLC of that, even if it's text. And if they can get voice actors from there, which is I forget his name, Tom something. The guy who played Biff on Back to the Future. He was the gang member in that episode. Um, if they could get voice work, I'll pay $40 for it. Give me mission packs, maybe some text, Robin getting revenge on him. You know, I'll pay money. And seeing that animated series skin does prove my point that it looks really great in that style. I'll buy it up. I doubt it. I doubt they're gonna do that. Overall, it's really good. It's got glitches. It's kind of rough around the edges. It's got too much crap on it. I honestly recommend Arkham Asylum more, but there's a lot of good fan service in here, a lot more, and a lot of cool characters, a lot of great presentations, so much fan service. They'll make you into Batmite. It's so good. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of worried about the whole DLC thing. The Nightwing and Robin packs cost me $14. Someone out there is going to like say like that's it, that's too much, and maybe you're right. But you know, I'm a fanboy. We've all been nickeled and dimed. We buy limited edition crap. We buy all this other stuff, and yeah, no, that's totally a good excuse to hate it. And I don't know. The game's great. Might do another one of these, going through Assassin's Creed Revelations, which is pretty fun. All these games are fun. So far, I'm going through New Game Plus on Batman, and it's really, really challenging. If you think the game is easy, go through New Game Plus. I've gotten almost everything in Batman Arkham City, and it's not that difficult. All the extra Riddler challenges, some people say they're annoying or they're too much, and I agree that unlocking the challenge rooms with them is kind of stupid. But they're not that difficult. You can do them alone, a little bit of thought behind it, talking it with friends maybe. You don't need to buy an FAQ. You don't have to buy a strategy guide. You don't have to go through an FAQ to go through them. They are not that difficult. And the coolest thing that I like was if you want to solve these riddles, you can just go down on the streets, beat up on a few thugs, find the Riddler agent, hold him upside down, threaten him, and he'll tell you where it is, which is the most Batman thing I've ever seen in my life. That's one of the best things about this game, is when you feel like Batman. And another one of those great moments was trying to hunt down Hush, which maybe it's a spoiler, maybe it's not. Hush is very, very small. He's in here, and immediately I knew it was Hush. I knew from the first moment I saw the case. There's a dead body, missing head. I saw it and I said, "Oh, that's Hush. That's totally Hush," because of the storyline to Heart of Hush. Again, a lot of Jeff Loeb references in here. A lot of Jeff Loeb references. A lot of current continuity references. And then Hush kind of reveals too much from the comics. And I know a lot of people don't like Hush, but Heart of Hush really, in my opinion, redeemed him and made him a really good current villain. Something that probably might make him last longer than people are going to imagine. that might be some hyperbole. I mean, that's the weirdest thing. Azrael's in this game. And Azrael is one of the most annoying characters around from the past 15 years. He was one of the original Nightfall characters when Batman had his back broke. And what's famous about him is the Asbat suit, which I used to have a poster in my room. I used to have a Azrael poster because it was cool. First time I saw him, I knew it was Azrael. Knew it was Azrael, just, and then when he holds up his hand, you see a flaming blade on him, which is Azrael in a nutshell. And some of my friends go like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's Azrael." And it turns out it was. That's the good thing about it. That's the really, really great thing about it. This is probably the best fan servicey game out there. I mean, it 10 times better than Chris Nolan's movies. Maybe someone's gonna make a good point as to why I'm wrong, but it's great. It's a good, darker, modern take on Batman. I personally prefer Brave and the Bold. The animated series references are really, really great. I don't know. It's it's hands down one of the best games out there. The fighting, the fighting is magnificent. I think like it is button mashy. It is easy. It's friendly. It's addictive. It's really addictive. Really, really addictive. I could play it for hours. And I think that's one of the things that got me to buy the game. I just wanted more of these missions. I wanted more fighting. I wanted a little bit more. But the thing that bothers me the most is that there's way too many weapons. I would have been happier if I could pick 4 weapons to start out as a loadout, not worry about the rest, because I'm fumbling through buttons. On a controller, it probably is better, but on a keyboard, it sucks. It's horrible. You have like weapon 12 that you need, weapon 11, and you're switching between them, between 7 or 4, and it's getting in my way. It's horrible. In Arkham Asylum, you could quick throw batarangs, you could quick do the grappling hook, which was super good in combat. Here, it's a nuisance, it's a problem. In order to disarm a gun, which is really, really cool, you can take a gun and dismantle it, and or you can break a bat, which is really, really helpful in combat. But that button is Y, all the way across from W and Y. That's like a good 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons away. That's not that helpful, and that's like, that's my biggest concern about the game. It's kind of like too much, too much, too much. I think like Zelda games do it better. I think a lot of other games do it better. When you've got that many weapons, you've got that many items, there's got to be a better way to handle it, and I don't think it does a good job. And the same thing, there's way too many characters, there's way too many things going on, and it kind of loses it. And that's why I ding it, because Arkham Asylum, I would have ranked it up to par with Metal Gear Solid 1, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. That's kind of harsh when you see like, oh well, it's not as good as Metal Gear Solid 1. Whatever. Still, it's probably one of the best Batman games since the Super Nintendo Batman Returns and Nintendo Batman, which is great, you know. You want more Batman, you want more guys to beat the crap out of, this is your game. Alright, just chatting. Peace.